Hi, we'll wait for a few more people to filter in and then we will get started here momentarily. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So welcome to the Saving Pets Challenge training webinar. My name is Ellen and I'll be leading you through today's presentation. The webinar will be recorded and posted in the toolkit on the Saving Pets Challenge site under the resources tab. You can use the Zoom Q&A module and you can ask as many questions as you would like during the webinar, and I will hopefully get to them at the end. So for a little background, since many of you are new to Mighty Cause is a fully functioning nonprofit fundraising suite that organizations use 365 days a year to raise money for their causes. We've been around since 2006 and power many local, regional, and national giving events. We're super excited for you guys to be this year's Saving Pets platform. Okay, so here is a look at today's agenda. We'll be going over some of the basics. We're going to touch base on getting started on the platform and all the prizes available. That will move into kind of more of a deep dive on strategy and utilizing the tools that come with your Mighty Cause account. Lastly, we'll have a Q&A session to make sure we answer any questions that come up after the presentation. If you have any questions while I'm presenting, just type them into the Q&A box of your Zoom panel and we will cover those at the end. If we do run out of time today, I'll be make sure to email everyone so that we can get all of your questions answered. And if there's kind of a running theme with questions, I'll be sure to add them to the frequently asked questions on the challenge page. So challenge basics. The 2002 Saving Pets Challenge is a 4-week-long event that runs from September 1st at 12 p.m. to September 30th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They are all US-based organizations that qualify. The really awesome thing about this giving event is that there is $150,000 of prize money at stake and lots of opportunities to win. We'll get into prizes a little bit later on. So what we really kind of want to focus on is navigating your challenge page and working on your dashboard. So this is the home page. You'll see the URL up at the top. I would definitely bookmark it. You can access each of, you'll be able to access the leaderboards from this page, as well as all of the tools that we have mentioned before. You'll see the resources tab where you can find a comprehensive frequently asked questions, as well as the bonuses for each week of the challenge. Navigating your dashboard. So once you've filled out and submitted your form and you've been approved, the next step is to complete your page. There are a few basic items for the Saving Pets Challenge that we suggest you complete. You should add a background image to your page or use one from our gallery of stock background images. Upload your logo, which will represent you throughout the Saving Pets Challenge. Add a story and also, which is also called a description. This will tell the visitors all about your nonprofit organization and what you guys do. We recommend building a thank you page that donors will see once their donation transaction is completed, and sign up for direct deposits. If you need help or you're unsure of how to complete any of these items, let us know at support@mightycause.com or check our support library. We have walkthroughs and videos that can help you out. So we recommend taking some time to get to know your dashboard. Your dashboard is the admin section that appears on the left side of the screen when you're logged onto your nonprofit's profile. When you log in, you'll automatically land on your overview section, which is where you'll find your to-do list, as well as metrics for your nonprofit. Beneath the overview section is the organization page section, where you can customize your public-facing organization page by toggling on edit mode and include page metrics like adding a goal for the giving event to enable the progress bar to show on your page. Below that, within the fundraising section, you'll have the ability to manage fundraising pages and other efforts for your organization, as well as matching grants, which we'll touch base on a little bit later. Below that on your dashboard is the report section, where you'll be able to preview and export different donation reports. And the last section within your dashboard is the checkout section, which we're going to talk about in a few slides. This section will allow you to customize your organization's donation checkout flow, like the donation form and thank you page. And lastly, you can see your nonprofit settings, like your URL customization and admin control in your settings section at the bottom. So your profile is the face of your nonprofit for this challenge. So you'll want to make sure it looks good and represents your organization well. Just so you know, your profile link is what you will share with your supporters to ask them to donate to your challenge page. So to share your page, just copy and paste the URL into an email or social post or wherever you're advertising for your campaign. So as you're going through your to-do list, you'll want to customize your profile to match your brand. You can change the theme color to match your logo, upload media to your gallery to add that visual interest on your page. And your story or description is really the centerpiece of your page. In your story, you can put your mission statement, you can add photos, videos. Just as a note, you will need to upload those videos to YouTube or Vimeo first, but you can embed them into your story so people can watch them there. This spot is really where you can go in depth about your work and make a strong appeal to donors, tell them why your organization needs their support, and show the impact of your work. So I would spend some time customizing this profile because the best campaign strategy can't work if your profile does not look great. It kind of shows the donors that you haven't put the time in for this challenge, so you may end up losing a few donors. Next, we have our checkout flow. So this will be the next item that you will want to customize. This is located within your checkout section on the dashboard. The checkout flow is what your donors experience when they make a donation to your organization. The first part to customize are your checkout steps. This is probably one of the more important features to focus on when you're setting up your organization's profile page. The checkout flow section gives you a lot of control over the donation process for your organization on Mighty Cause. So it allows you to opt into collecting the information you want from donors, like addresses and phone numbers. You can also set up custom suggested donation amounts and add descriptions to help tie those amounts to items or services your nonprofit provides and strengthen your appeal to donate. The checkout steps within your checkout flow also allows you to preview the whole checkout process without actually making that test donation. So what you see on your final process looks just like what the donors will see. We also want to point out the toolkit resources. So the nonprofit toolkit has tips and tricks, frequently asked questions, walkthroughs, and it also has templates you can use for email, social media, and other things to help you get inspired and figure out how you want to promote your campaign. This is also where you'll be able to find today's training recordings as well as our previous recording. This has logos and graphics that you can download to start tying your brand into the Saving Pets Challenge. Be sure to refer back to it as you are planning your campaign. So we want to go over a few of the challenges and prizes. So this year's Saving Pets Challenge features 5 grand prize winners. The organization that raises the most money online during the challenge timeframe will win $50,000 as the top prize. The organization that raises the second highest amount online will win $25,000. Third place will win $15,000. Fourth place, $10,000. And fifth place raising will win $5,000. So as soon as the challenge begins, participating organizations will start getting tracked by the dollars they have raised. Please note that only online donations made through the Saving Pets Challenge will count towards your leaderboards. So this is a big reason why you want to push your donors to give online. So you can certainly record a check that is given to you, but it won't reflect on your leaderboard totals. The reason for that is that we cannot verify offline donations. The leaderboard will reflect your cumulative total from the time the challenge begins at 12 on September 1st. So it's a running total of everything you've raised online. And there's a lot of additional prizes available as well. We have a specific bonus geared for small organizations that runs the whole campaign. Most of the bonus prizes will have live leaderboards, so you can see where you stand at any time. The key to winning them is getting those donors invested and helping you climb those leaderboards. So keep tabs on your position on the leaderboard and keep your donors and supporters updated on where you are. Continually emphasize how much is at stake. How much could this extra prize money do for your charity? What would this help you achieve? Tie that back into your overall messaging about what you do and why you do it to really get people excited about helping you win that money. And another trick is just to concentrate on sustaining momentum, keeping the fundraising going, and starting and finishing strong. So we want to go over some campaign strategy. So the leaderboards provide some of the biggest prizes available on the Saving Pets Challenge. The key to winning them is getting your donors invested and helping you climb those leaderboards. So keep tabs on your position on the leaderboard and keep your donors and supporters updated on where you are. Continually emphasize how much is at stake. So how much could $10,000 do for your charity? What would that help you achieve? Tie that back into your overall message about what you do and why you do it to really get people excited about helping you win that money. And another trick is to just concentrate on sustaining momentum, keeping the fundraising going, and starting and finishing strong. So since the campaign is a month long, the trick to making the most of the event is sustain your fundraising momentum. And one great way to do that and make sure your campaign is on track is to set some mini goals for your nonprofit to generate buzz and build excitement. The great thing about the Saving Pets Challenge are the weekly bonuses, so you can utilize those to help sustain your fundraising momentum and get people excited about helping you win those prizes. We'll go in a little bit more detail about them later. But now typically the first and last weeks are your strongest. So you may want to boost your middle week by utilizing a matching grant to shake up your campaign. Something else you can do to get your campaign rolling is asking for seed donations. These are donations from people in your nonprofit's inner circle that essentially break the ice with donors, because no one likes to be the first. They help get the ball rolling, and they're called seed donations because they make the number of donations grow. People to ask for seed donations would be your board, staff, especially those who are director or C-suite level leaders, volunteers, anyone else at your nonprofit who is highly engaged in your work. These don't have to be huge donations, but getting a little bit in the bank by tapping the people in your inner circle really does help your campaign move forward and get donations coming in. A great strategy for driving donations on a giving day is securing a matching grant. A matching grant is essentially a large donation that your nonprofit leverages to bring in other smaller donations. by offering it as a match. So for instance, if you had someone willing to give you 1,000, instead of just putting that money in the bank and calling it a day, you could use it as a matching grant. So the terms of the grant are totally up to you and the grantor, but let's say there's a bonus prize available and you'd like to do whatever you can to drive donations during that week so that you can win. You'd take that $1,000 and say to your followers, hey, between this day and this day, donations will be matched up to $1,000, which basically allows them to double their donation. You can do a lot with the Mighty Cause tool, like setting a cap for donations, say $200, so someone doesn't come along and make a big donation to eat up your entire match. So it's a really cool and complex little tool that allows you to do a lot with your matching grant. And our platform, we've seen that these matching grants, especially on a giving day, can be a very powerful way to drive donations. So since a matching grant is ultimately just a large donation, you'll want to follow the same processes that you do when you secure a major gift. So you prospect, cultivate, and ask. People you should consider as prospects for matching grants are board members, first and foremost. Sometimes an individual board member will be happy to provide a matching grant, but one thing you can also consider is asking your board to work together to provide a match. If your board still has to pay their dues, for instance, you could utilize their dues by turning it into a matching grant. Major gift donors who have given large donations to your nonprofit in the past are also great prospects. And it's kind of a more fun way to liven up their donations. So instead of just writing a check, they're helping your nonprofit grow and drive other donations. You can also give this donor some extra recognition when you're promoting the match. So major gift donors who like little shout out are an even better matching grant prospect. Corporate sponsors are also good prospects because it's a fun, proactive way for them to get involved in a public way and draw attention to their philanthropy. At this stage in the game, you can start making phone calls, setting up emails, and starting to cultivate these prospects by letting them know what you're doing and seeing how warm they might be to the idea of getting involved. And then in the coming couple of weeks, you can make your ask and shore up the details of the match. We can have more than one match running at the same time on Mighty Cause. So if you get a lot of great responses, don't feel like you have to pick and choose one. So at the end of the day, a matching grant is really just a marketing tool. So in order to make the most of your matching grants, you'll need to promote it. So the first step is going to the matching grant tool on your challenge team page and adding it there. There are some marketing tools built into the platform for your matching grant, such as putting a sticker on your donate button when the grant is active, some changes to your checkout process to reflect the match, and the match also gets listed on your nonprofit's profile. But you'll also want to add some information to your story, especially if it's a big match, and promote it on your social media channels. Send out an email and so on to let all of your followers know about the match. Countdowns add urgency, so counting down and sharing your progress can be a great way to get people excited and urge them to stop what they're doing and make a donation. So moving on from matching grants, I want to talk a little bit about ambassadors. So ambassadors are people who are usually in your nonprofit's inner circle who can help boost your campaign. So that includes board members, volunteers, especially ones who are highly engaged, staff members, and so on. Utilizing ambassadors can help you break out of your list of existing supporters and engage new people that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. An ambassador can help you in a few different ways. They can simply share a link to your page with their social circle to ask them to donate and help signal boost your campaign for the challenge. If you have a board member, for instance, who is very well connected, this can be a huge boost, or they can help getting involved in P2P fundraisers. So team fundraising is P2P fundraising, where you basically deputize your supporters to fundraise on your behalf. So you would ask your ambassadors to set up a team page. This may sound like a big ask, but it's often a really fun way to engage your biggest supporters and allow them to tell their own story about your nonprofit, how they came to work with you, and why your work is important to them. And this doesn't distract or draw attention away from your campaign because they're operating alongside your campaign and reaching out to people that they know personally for donations. So in most cases, it's their friends and colleagues and family, not people that your nonprofit would normally solicit. So for people like your board, volunteers, staff, and program alumni, this can be a great way for them to get involved without just asking to give money. And it can make it be much more meaningful for them, just much more meaningful than just making a donation or sharing a link. So this can be a part of your stewarding process of building and sustaining a relationship with that supporter. We've also seen some nonprofits, great P2P action going by inviting people on social media or sending them an email asking for their help. For younger people who have big social networks and are really comfortable online, but maybe don't have as much cash to give, this can be an excellent way for them to help out and make meaningful contributions. To help make things easier for them, you can share some images, talking points, facts, and logos with them, or you can actually create a template fundraiser that people can use to get set up more quickly and pre-fill some of the sections of their page. So you can email team and event members through the platform to keep them motivated. Nonprofits that utilize P2P fundraising tend to raise more money during giving events, so it's definitely worth talking about how you can incorporate it into your campaign strategy. The timeline is great for you to get started on this, so you can start asking people to join your team now so they can begin raising money for September 1st. So your email list is going to be one of the most important tools during the challenge because emails are a direct line to your supporters. Unlike social media, you don't have to worry about an algorithm getting in your way or preventing people from seeing what you sent to them, because unless they've unsubscribed, it'll end up right in their inbox and probably send them notifications to their phone. So I want to talk a little bit about email strategy because that's going to be important for the challenge. In general, you'll want to keep emails relatively short, simple, and skimmable. Most people read their emails on their phone these days, so you're not going to want to write an entire novel. They want to be able to skim it and get to the point. People are much more likely to read emails that pertain directly to them, so we highly recommend segmenting your email list by sorting donors into a few key groups. These groups are donors who have given a lot or give on a regular basis, one-time donors, people who utilize your services but never donated, one-time donors, your board, volunteers, and so on. You don't need to craft entirely new emails to each of these groups, but you can tweak small things about the emails for each group to make it more personal. So for instance, in an email to volunteers, you want to acknowledge how they already help your nonprofit. And you wouldn't want to send an email to a major gift donor asking them only for $25. So identify your key segments and figure out how to tailor your message to them. When an email is tailored to who the recipient is and the relationship that they have with your organization, they are much more likely to read it and take action on it. How you segment depends on the program you're using, but most services like Constant Contact and MailChimp use tags to segment groups of people on your email list. One thing you will need to pay close attention to is the timing of your emails, especially if you're aiming to win a bonus prize. I would recommend taking the time to schedule as much as you can beforehand and have a template email ready for things you need to send out on the day of, like a blast email asking people to help you get your campaign goal or an announcement that you won a prize. As I mentioned before, most people read their emails on their phone. So make sure that you choose a mobile-friendly email template and test it out beforehand. I would try it on an iPhone and Android and so on. Just make sure it looks the way you want it to leading up to your campaign. We also recommend doing some A/B testing, especially with subject lines, because you'll want to make sure people are driven to open your emails for the challenge. So try out a few different subject lines, try adding things like emojis and just see what works better. So when you're sending out those critical emails, you'll have an idea of what tends to work with your email list. A/B testing, if you're a little bit new to the term, is basically splitting an email up 50-50 and testing a variable. So let's say you're testing a button color or a subject line. Half your list will get email A with one subject line and half will get email B with another subject line. And whichever email gets the most opens wins. So for button color or placement, the email with the most clicks would win. You just want to be careful about testing too much or throwing too many variables in there, because it's really hard to say what or why something won the test and performed better. Lastly, your CTAs should be clear and action-oriented. Give now, donate now, help us today. More passive CTAs like thanks for donating or please contribute aren't as effective, and you want to be crystal clear and urgent. For a high stakes challenge like this, we really recommend staying in your comfort zone and going where your audience is. What I mean by this is if you've never logged into a TikTok before, I would not recommend using TikTok for this challenge. If you have 1,000 followers on your Facebook page, but only a handful on Instagram, then you should spend way more time and effort on promoting your campaign on Facebook rather than Instagram. Stay in your lane and put your efforts into the platform where you're most likely to reach people and have an impact. I definitely recommend scheduling any posts you can ahead of time just to save yourself a lot of trouble during the challenge and leading up to it. So get your key content scheduled with Facebook's publishing tools or Creator Studio, or into TweetDeck and schedule your tweets. And save any live posting for stuff that needs to be done same day, like thanking a donor, updates to your progress, or prize announcements. To that end, you'll want to assign a point person to monitor social media so they can quickly respond to comments and interact with your followers. Since that is very important on social media, and interaction can also help you in terms of the algorithm, since most platforms do show priority to posts with lots of engagement. We also do recommend budgeting a little money if you're able to boost some posts or promote some tweets. $20 for an ad can actually go a very long way. You'll want to make sure your ad is targeted properly. And if you aren't sure how to target an ad, you can always default to targeting to the people who like your page or already follow you. In terms of the type of content that will do well on social media, it depends a little bit on the platform. But in general, photos and videos do really well. And you may want to consider doing something out of the box, like a Facebook Live video or watch party for a campaign video to help generate some buzz while delivering algorithm-friendly content. And finally, when you're planning your campaign, follow-up is always important to consider. When you're planning your content, you'll also want to plan your thank you to donors. Things like making a video or a photo of your staff can be really great. Be sure to talk about the impact of the funds you raised and close the loop on your entire campaign. That means if you were fundraising for something specific, like a new piece of equipment or improvements to your building or something like that, you'll also want to send emails periodically to your progress. You'll want to make sure you get an onboarding plan in place for new donors. So when they come back to donate again, so you'll want to collect their addresses and maybe mail them a welcome packet. That would be a great way to get them on board. You can also create an automated email journey where they can get more information about what you do and why it's important to support your work. As we wrap up, I just want to make sure that you all have the contact information for our support team. They are a great resource before and during the challenge for anything campaign related. If you need help setting up EFT, if you need help figuring out how to strategize around your weekly bonuses, or if your donor needs a receipt resent, you can reach out to them at any time. They are available Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And there is their phone number. So yes, definitely suggest jotting that down. I don't see any questions in the Q&A or the chat, but if you have any questions, I'll put support back up there so you guys can make sure you have that information. But if there are no questions, then I will go ahead and end this, but reach out to support. If you have any questions or anything comes up, we are so excited for all of you to participate in this year's Saving Pets Challenge, and we will talk to you all soon.